Okay, well, I hope everybody enjoyed their Christmas gift from yesterday. Today is Boxing Day. We're going to get even more work and get the exact same stuff that we would have got yesterday. So, sounds like a bargain to me. We are going to look at how to make a y equals mx plus b equation from 2 points. So now we're not being given anything except for the raw data, which, if you end up going off into a research field or something like that, is exactly what you're going to end up doing. Just so we're not forgetting about Christmas past, we're going to have a look and quick reminder. Start with the equation, substitute your known values. Remember that coordinates are always x and then y. So the 3, -3 is in fact x is 3 and y is -3. We're going to turn around and solve for b, and then we're going to rewrite the equation using the m that we are given and the b that we solve for, including the sign. The reason I wanted to go through that is that 2 points really isn't a whole lot different. Now, it starts off vastly different. We're going to designate one of these points as point 1 or point 2. So point 1 and point 2. And it doesn't matter which one's which as long as you get it done. Okay? I could have just as easily made B point 1 and A point 2. It doesn't matter. Now, we're going to introduce you to a new equation. And this is the equation for finding slope, y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. When I had that crazy formula, that board up on the board up on the board, the rate of change stuff on the board, I had this formula on there. And everybody kind of looked at it and went, what the heck is that? And I said, we're coming back to it. Well, today, that's what we're introducing. When we use that equation, ooh, pretty, we have to be careful using the signs. That's what I get for playing with pretty things. Something always breaks in the end. Um, there we go. Okay, and the reason for this is that a lot of people mistakenly assume that when they substitute in a negative number, that is their subtraction sign, and that's not the case. We'll, as you can see, we have a couple of examples where it's going to come up. We're going to solve for m. Once we know what m is, we're actually into yesterday's work. The only difference is that we now have 2 points, where before we only had 1. And it really isn't a whole lot different. All you're doing is you get to pick the point instead of you must use a specific point. As of that point, come on, there we go. We are exactly in the yesterday's work. Solve for b, rewrite the equation, m, and then your b value. Okay? Okay, all right. So we're going to start with this equation first. I've already designated that this is a. Just because it's a brand new equation, I'm going to write it out. Now, get two common errors. People tend to mix up the x's and y, and people tend to mix up the subtraction signs. So once again, here, since this is 2, that makes this one y2. And at the beginning of the year, I said brackets were good for substitution, especially when you're substituting in negative signs. And this equation here it's particularly helpful because there's no mistaking that negative sign and the subtraction sign don't get confused for being one another. Because the most common mistake, like I said, is that people will write 6 minus 6, thinking the -6 and the subtraction sign are one and the same. Now that we have our slope equals 4, we run back to y equals mx plus b. That is the Alamo in this chapter. And most of you guys are probably too young to have any idea what I'm talking about. I'll be honest, the Alamo predates me by about 100 years. So it's about 200 years ahead of most of you guys. But some people will at least know the reference. What am I doing here? Okay, so let's pick a point. which means y equals 4x minus 2. Okay, so once again, not too far off what we were doing yesterday, but we do have that extra step. So you got to be careful with those negative signs. Here we have negative signs everywhere. Give her a shot. Notice I didn't write down which is my point 1, my point 2. I just kept it straight in my head. That is perfectly acceptable. Now, my habit is that I tend to write out this equation. I don't know why. Of all the equations, this is like the only one that I write out almost every time. There is no good reason for it. Now, why did I choose point D instead of point A? The reason is simple. I don't want to deal with negative signs. So while I can't avoid negative signs because 3 out of 4 of them had them, if I chose point D, I got a positive 3. And that at least gives me one less negative sign to deal with. Didn't matter once I put it in the equation, but you can only do so much. Okay, and that is how to do it with with 2 points. Again, if you need review on your algebra, go back to the chapter 4 and have a look at that. You are welcome to email me. You're welcome to text me with any questions. Arrange one of those live sessions for review. I still haven't thought of a better way to end my session, so I'll continue with good luck, guys.